2021, kind of late in the game.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, me and my best friends, they had been playing since the game came out, but then I'd been a big Call of Duty player, really not much of a video gamer. But then got an Overwatch with my friends, and it just became one of my like, favorite games to play with them. And so that's kind of where it started, and then just started progressing, and mainly just kind of play with my squad, and then I'll solo queue every now and then. And then for my birthday this year, they we've been a big fan of your channel for a while. So for my birthday
Mm.
this year, they got me this session, which I thought was a really great gift.
Nice, nice. Well, that's awesome. Good to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get the rest of your form here. Mostly positioning and macro is what you hope to get out of the set. Now, obviously, this may have changed since you filled out the form. Would you still say
Mhm.
something similar?
Yeah, pretty similar. I think the big thing, and my friend Sean, he like kind of filled this out for me when they surprised me
Of
with it, but
course.
his notes were pretty on point. I think the big thing for me, and when I struggle, the thing I noticed the most is like I just struggle with like understanding when a fight is like lost. There's something about me that just wants to keep like pushing forward, and it loses me a
Yeah.
lot of fights and loses my team a lot of fights.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I,
Okay.
I think that's like a very specific thing. And then would just love, I'm like always teetering between high gold, low plat. So that's kind of where my baseline is. So any sort of general stuff that you happen to see and want to just point out a better way of doing things or just things I can improve on, I'm there for it.
Yeah. Okay. Goal, I assume, would be to make it to diamond. Talk me through your training schedule right now. Like, how often do you play? How long? How much of it is
I
ranked? How much of it
yeah.
is Rhine compared to other tanks, and so on?
So I'd say I primarily play Ryan, but I never have problems really switching as it's called for. I
Sure.
play about daily when I get home from work, usually for 2, 3 hours, usually with the
Sure.
squad, and if they're not on, I'll usually be playing by myself. And then that's pretty regular, like Monday through Friday. Then I work a lot of weekends, so I don't get a lot of time in
Yeah.
the
Okay.
weekends. So
Okay.
that's about like the frequency at which I play. I'd say Ryan is like 80%, and then it's like Doom and Sig for the rest of it.
Okay. What percentage breakdown would you say approximately for those two?
Probably leaning more towards Doom out of the Sig and Doom
Sure.
combo.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Makes
S-
sense. Is it like
Something about the
10%, 15%, 20,
for like
whatever?
15% Doom. Like Sig is who I break out when I'm like struggling.
Got it.
And I'm
Okay.
like, all right, I know the fundamentals here, feel like I do, and always tend to perform well there. But I have the most fun playing Ryan and Doom.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Vote,
mean, makes total sense. Okay. So,
yeah.
what initially attracted you about Ryan and or kept you playing the hero?
Um, First tank I learned, and then like I don't know, it's just different from any like hero or character I've ever played. He doesn't have a gun. Like it's a
Yeah. True.
very like mental hero, I guess, like in the way you're visually perceived on in a match, and I don't know, it's just fun to me.
Sure.
Um, Very unique.
Sure. 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 And Doomfist.
The mobility thing is just it was almost like a challenge. I remember when I first started playing, I was like, and this is when Doomfist was DPS. I was like, this dude's crazy, like the
Yeah.
movement, and it was really difficult to learn, and it was kind of like a challenge. Like, I bet you could learn this hero.
Yeah.
So I watched a bunch of Quaked On videos, and then just kind of started playing progressively to the point where I was like, okay, I think I feel like I have this as like my kind of second main tank now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Okay.
where we're at with Doom.
Makes sense. And Sigma is just, I assume, more of like a problem solver. Like, I don't,
Mhm.
I need this character needs to be play. I can't play around. I can't play Doom, so I might as well just play this.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I don't have the most fun playing Sig, but I know it works
Right.
type
Right.
thing.
What
So,
situations do you find yourself pulling him out?
so situations where I am just getting absolutely tank busted, like tons of damage output from the other team, or I'm getting hard focused. I'm like, all right, like I just need to switch to Sig, and I don't know. That just has been a habit, not something I've like actively done. I just find myself doing it.
Sure.
And then I tend to improve a little bit in those situations because, Doom for me, like, can be hit or miss sometimes. Ryan's fairly consistent, but every now and then, like a game I just recently played, I was just dealing with a ton of damage output. And so it just made sense to switch there
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
abilities.
Okay. 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 What are like if you when you talk about like strategy specific stuff, you talked a little bit about positioning and macro. This is where I want to kind of delve into a little bit deeper than that because that probably has some correlation with some of the matchups you find tricky. What comes to mind, like as specifically as you can with positioning?
My strategy with any of these heroes, first off, is to just occupy space at
Sure.
first, and then
And what do
kind
you
of
mean by
set my.
that? I think it's kind of begging the question, but elaborate
Sure.
on that.
Yeah, just positioning myself on the map where the other team can't be because
Sure,
I'm there,
of
and then
course,
setting my
sure,
team up for success. In my head, that's what space is.
of course, yeah.
Allowing everybody to get to the point where they can do their job.
Okay, okay,
So,
and then continue there. So positioning, focusing on that.
I guess like heading towards whatever the objective is for the particular game. Um, that's and yeah, on the space topic. That's one thing I would love to work on is like setting up initially, like
Sure,
after the rollout, is like what is the based on this scenario, what is the best like line of thinking or positioning thing? Because I find first fights I always struggle with. I like always struggle with that first fight, but then after that I like get into a rhythm, and so it's like what can I do to like kind of and maybe it is a chance thing on that first rollout because you don't know who's coming at you, but
sure.
I think that's a big one space wise. I think I need help on and find myself like actively like struggling with. I'm like, ooh, I
Yeah.
didn't know where to go at first, you know?
Okay, okay. So just rollouts is like a good initial question. And then in terms of macro beyond that, anything come to mind that you feel like you need to struggle with? Because obviously the form is relatively vague.
Yeah, so excuse my ignorance a little bit, but my friend Sean did fill it out. When I don't
Yeah.
really know what they're talking about when they say macro.
So I would
Um,
say more like strategy. Like what's your
got you,
strategy
got you.
besides maybe just your positioning?
Um, I think first and foremost get a lay of the land, and then my usual thing is just like find my target priority, whether it's like a DPS that's a huge threat or like a
Sure.
support that's out of position. That's usually
Sure.
where my brain is usually going first. I try to
Yeah.
actually learn from you to like try to ignore the tank at first,
Sure.
and then try and find those opportunities, I guess, that I can take to add value to the team.
Sure, sure. Okay, okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Any other questions? I think a lot of this we just need to get into the actual VOD itself to discuss.
No, nothing too specific. I think just like contextually for me as a player, like I do try to take this seriously, but at the end of the day, I have so much fun playing this game with my
Yeah.
friends. And so I think my end all goal with, starting coaching and stuff is like I want to be the best player I can be with my friends and stuff. I don't have like a specific rank I'm trying to target. I just want to like be able because they are a bit higher skill than me. As far as their ranks and how long and how much they've played. So I'd like to be able to keep up a little bit better, and add value the same way they do for me.
Yep, of course. Okay, let's get into this then. If you want to
Sure.
shoot the replay code and we can get started right away.
Yeah. Let me copy paste that over. And I just went through kind of my recent games and picked out some losses that were a bit of a struggle. So I just picked two random
Sure,
ones here, and
sure.
dealer's choice what you want to go with.
Okay,
One of
sure.
them, I believe I stuck with Ryan the whole time, and one I went Ryan into Doom.
Okay, sounds good. So talk to me, I guess, a little bit about this first code. So the PFY. So which two did you choose?
Hmm. Let me just look at it real quick so I can refresh my memory. Okay, so the PFY, that was a new Queen Street match.
Yep.
That one I think would be a good one to start. I stayed riding the whole time, but I remember playing that, um, and I don't know, I just felt like I was doing my job, and but then like it ended up in a loss. So I think just an overall breakdown on that would just
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So and then you actually swap Sigma at the end there as well, so that'll actually be interesting. So
yeah,
we'll have a smaller sample size, but what we can do is we can watch it until you swap, and then we can pivot from there.
yeah.
Unless you want some coaching in Sigma, but it seems like such a shorter VOD. We
Actually,
can.
I think I shared the wrong new Queen Street map because that's one I like literally just played.
Okay.
Um, Damn, but I have it right in front of me. Okay, here it is. Sorry about that.
Yep.
Copying
No,
this code.
no problem.
Yeah, I believe this was the right one.
We can find out. It's no problem. We got plenty of time.
There we go.
Okay. And you said you believe you stayed Ryan the whole time, but struggled a little bit here and there as well. Ryan Mirror. All right, that's not something you see every day. Okay.
Yeah, this is the one. This was the one.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so just basically close game, and that's why we're looking at it.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, what is it something that I could have done better? Was it a team thing? Um, I just remember this is one of those losses I got to the end. I was like, damn, how?
Yeah. Okay. What is Ryan good at in comparison to other tanks? I'm curious.
Close range damage.
Sure, but that doesn't make him that unique compared to other
Yeah.
tanks. It is a strength compared to maybe half the tank cast, but give me more than that.
Um, he just, I mean, with charge, he can be pretty fast.
Yeah. Okay. So let's stop right there. So let's just stick
Yeah.
with those two things for right now. There's more than that. We'll go more in that. But how many dangerous tanks up close have a mobility cooldown?
Not many. I think Doom.
Right,
Kind
but is
of.
Doom is as dangerous as Ryan up close?
No,
Right.
no,
So it's
not
on a
that much
gradient.
damage.
You're right though. It's like kind of a gradient, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Malga kind of sort of.
Sure.
He's pretty dangerous up close, has
Yeah.
mobility. Okay, so then what's the difference between Malga and Ryan?
Ryan's got
This is a trickier
defense.
one. What does that mean?
Like he's got a shield.
What does that
You can
protect
mitigate-
you from?
Damage from the enemy
Right,
team.
so how's that useful?
You can mitigate potential threats, kind of absorb cooldowns.
Sure.
Use that to help create space.
Sure, sure. Let's put it into real terms here. So, like, let's say I'm going to have you roll high ground and just pin into their backline right here. Right here, just from the flank, right? How does that feel
Yeah.
for Malga right here? I mean, I
Feel
know
like-
you don't play Malga, but just conceptually here, what do you think?
From the enemy team, like if the enemy team was Malga,
Yeah.
what that perspective would be like? or
As
if I
in,
was...
you were Malga, like you
Oh,
were,
yeah.
God forbid, but like
Got you, got
you're
you.
a Malga player here, and you're back here on the back line. How
That feels-
does that go?
Pretty good because you can attack and get out pretty quick.
Okay, but let's say you had to run in though, right? So we put
Yeah.
you here, we run you here. How does it feel?
Pretty sticky.
How so?
It puts you into a very potentially like precarious situation.
Why?
Because you are completely cut off from supports. You've got all this backline that could collapse on you.
Do you have any way of mitigating that?
I guess. Well, assuming you didn't charge in, you could
You have
get
to
out of
charge
there.
in, right? Like that's the point,
Yeah,
right? To get
so
here,
yeah,
you have
you're-
to charge in.
You're stuck. Yeah. Okay. I see where you're going with.
You kind of
with
see what I'm
this.
saying? Now,
Yes, okay.
cardiac gives you some damage reduction. You can self heal, but it's not shield. So you can probably see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
You pin
I-
backline as
that
Ryan.
clicked. Yeah.
You pin backline as Ryan. Now, hopefully, if you pin intelligently, you didn't take a lot of damage during the pin. That's the big thing. That's where you really die during pin, before and during. But after the pin, you sit here and you hold shield. How does that go?
In this instance, probably not well. I feel
Are
like
you
I'd
gonna
be too
die?
cut off.
Are you going to
I think
die?
I'm gonna. I think so.
Maybe.
Maybe.
How much
There's high
damage will you
potential
take?
for that.
How much damage will you take while you're shielding?
None.
So what are you going to die to?
True.
Can you live 5-6 seconds until you get your charge back?
Absolutely.
Okay. So then what are you going to die to? It's kind of a rhetorical question, right? I think
Yeah.
that I'm not just, baiting you here. I do think that there is a chance, like, you'd have to think, how do I pin back out, right, without immediately dying? But in theory, you'd still have full HP in theory, right?
Yeah.
So even with a comp like, Hanzo and Sim, Sim's ramping up her beam. So what? To do what? To shoot who? You're going to pin away in 2 seconds, right? And in the meantime,
Yeah.
so let's delve even deeper than that. Okay, so in theory, you can go a lot of different places that a lot of other short range tanks can't. And in theory, comparison to a Malga, you can hold attention without taking as much damage. In theory. But what's the point? You talked about holding space, right? That was the big thing with your positioning. Holding space, places the enemy team wants to go. Great. Why would you want to be here? Is this even desirable to be here if you could get here safely?
I think it could be because
How so?
Say I start disrupting back here, that's gonna get the attention of their tank and hopefully have him look around and give my team like space to move up and do their thing. That's what first thought in my head.
Sure.
If I'm back here successfully, kind of was intelligent with my pin, start causing some ruckus back here. I feel like that would cause the tank to be like, "Yo, what's going on?" If they're, aware of their backline.
But what if they're
And
not? What if
then
their tank is what if their tank is Giga IQ and says, "Oh, I don't want to pin back to their tank. I'm going to hold their backline. I'm going to do the same thing he's doing." Who wins that? The Ryan that's here or the Ryan that's here?
I'd say I might have the advantage there,
Why?
just having struck first, and I'm like a second or more into that fight than he would be.
What do you mean into that fight? I'm really
Like,
forcing you to define this. So you're not.
Sure.
You're doing a great job, but I want this. This is the fundamentals we're digging for. We're getting there.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I think if I take that route, I engage first. That gets me into the fight earlier.
What's
than
into
he
the
does.
fight though? That's kind of my point, right? With you being on Symmetra Hanzo, why does that feel like more into the fight than where you are right now?
Because up there, I'm just being a sponge and kind of just taking all this damage
Why?
that's coming at me.
Why? What's the difference between here and here? What's the difference? Be as literal as you can.
Positioning?
Positioning in what regard? What's different about the position? Look at where you're at now, and look at where you would be if you were on top of Hanzo-san. What's the difference? What can you swing on right now? Like right physically now, Smashburger. What can you swing on?
Nothing.
Nothing. Or Rhine, right? Now,
Nothing.
I'm going to go back to something that, maybe you watched my tank guide, all right? And, right, I think Reinhardt in the tank trade, it can be very good. It's not the best, but it's okay. But every tank has the ultimate goal of killing a squishy. That's the ultimate goal. The question is,
Sure.
can you do so safely? And the answer a lot of time is no, you can't. Ryan, the answer is sometimes. So if we could teleport you into Hanzo Symmetra without you taking any damage, who has more threat with their hammer? GWP71, whatever that is, or Smashburger on Hanzo Symmetra?
I do.
And that's how you create space. So not only do you put yourself in valuable positions, but the reason that you put yourself in valuable positions is because you know that squishies want to go there. And if the squishies don't want to come to you, then you go to them, right? So when you're on Hanzo Symmetra, the chaos that you're going to create is going to be like kicking an ant pile as opposed to the enemy Rhine. Why?
Yeah.
Because you have reached a more desirable position of damage. The reason that you could sit here and hold shield is because you are terrifying. It's the threat of what you could do that scares the Symmetra and Hanzo so much and forces a response. This Reinhardt, who is he a threat to right now?
Me?
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's about
Nobody,
it.
right? Basically
Yeah.
nothing, right? Doesn't mean that he couldn't in a few seconds, but that's why you have the advantage. We said into the fight first. You're right, because you had immediately had found a way to contest backline and cause chaos immediately. That's the goal. Now, the challenge is, can you do so without taking damage? Can you do so using cover? Can you do so taking an angle? And sometimes, frankly, the answer's no. You're not playing Winston. You're not playing Wrecking Ball, right? That's the limitation of Ryan. He has the more mobility than, let's say, a Ramacha or an Orisa, but you don't have as much. So you either need to leverage the fact that you have mobility, or you need to leverage the fact that you have shield. Those are your strengths. That's Reinhardt. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So here,
Yeah, that was good stuff.
well, we're going to keep doing that, right? We're going to keep applying that. So you throw your Fire Strike. Okay, not bad. Took a little too much damage in the process. That's the big thing. I like it. You use your shield to block anti-nade. I don't know if you saw that, but... or no, you didn't block anti-nade. You got naded. I'm sorry. I saw it splash.
Yeah.
She missed it. Oh, no, she hit it. Okay, well, she missed it on the enemy tank.
Take a nice little hit there.
So let's take a careful look here. Is your team fighting right now?
Not really. They're still kind of making their way there.
Right. So why are you winning this tank trade so decisively with the pin, the Fire Strike, the swing, the everything, and it doesn't matter? It's because you're not fighting. This is what you see. This is what your team sees. Do you see the difference?
Absolutely.
It's not terrible for your Moira, and it's not terrible for your Ana either. And eventually, in a few seconds, it's going to be okay for this Cabbage Patch Kid here. But soldiers in spawn, you didn't know that, I bet.
No, I wasn't. I was just kind of tunnel vision.
He didn't even pick a character. You talked about this earlier. Remember this earlier? You said, sometimes I just want to press W, right? I don't know why.
Yeah.
Right? The reason you want to press W is because it's your job to create space, usually, or to hold space. The problem with tank is that there's a cardinal sin that every role provides. right? Support, it's hubris and ego and inactivity, usually. For tank, it's complete, just being totally oblivious. Why?
Sure.
Not because you're stupid, but because this is what your role demands of you positionally.
Everyone's behind you.
Everybody's behind you, so you don't naturally see everything, right? So the problem here is that you're playing this. I mean, honestly, like getting pinned there is pretty cruddy, but like this isn't terrible. It's just you just weren't fighting as a team, right? And you just didn't know that. It's not because you purposely did that. You just didn't have the necessary information, and so that's all there is to it. Now, I want to ask you a question here. Maybe it's not necessary, but we're going to practice. Do you see a clear, clean, safe path here to contest backline that doesn't get you killed? We're looking for cover, an angle. Do you see anything? I want you to spend like a few seconds, and if the answer is no, the answer is no.
In this position, no.
I agree. Why?
Like the only kind of route that it's in my head that could successfully do that is what you showed me earlier, and like that's just not
it's not
an option, right? It's just not an option right now. I think at most I'm playing that corner from that spot.
Sure. There's no DPS in high ground. There's nobody on a flank. There's nobody over here. They're all here, and there's one big guy in the way. Okay, so beat him. Yep. Now that also makes things easier for your team, because if they're all inaccessible to you, look at the space that the DPS are currently controlling. Who's contesting your DPS right now if they were here? Nobody. They're all in a giant clump. Any angle your Frey wants to take? Fine. What are the odds that your Ana gets headshot? Basically 0. What are the odds that your soldier can take any position that he wants? Any that he wants. What risk is that your Moira under? None, right? So because the enemy team has clumped, it has made your job a little bit more boring, but it's also made things a little simpler for your team.
Mm-hmm. So I needed to have better awareness of where they were. I was just kind of tunnel visioned, ready to go in.
Right. So we're going to look about two skills. One is, where's my team, right? So I know when I can fight. And then 2, where are the enemies? So I can know where I can fight. Where can I apply pressure? Because if there's a Rein here and you're rolling out and you see like a Widowmaker up here, you have my permission to pin up top here because this is safe. This is cover. And yeah, sure, Rein might chase you, but let him chase you. You'll deal with the threat. Right? Mm-hmm. At least give yourself that information. Nice pen. You had the HP to do it, so it works. Now, this is crucial. Target priority doesn't matter. Kind of, sort of. Because who should you be swinging on right now and why?
That Sim right next to me.
Why?
She's way out of position. I've got support right behind me.
Who's easier to kill, Rein or Sim? Sim. Well, but there's with an asterisk, right? Why do you not normally try to kill the Symmetra? Normally. Why didn't you try to kill the Symmetra 10 seconds ago? 15 seconds ago? What's changed?
Tough question. Earlier she was like with her team and behind some cover. Now she's just out here.
Correct. That's it. She's more accessible. That's it. The reason that we always focus squishies is because they're just easier to kill. The reason that we don't always focus squishies is because sometimes they position themselves so they're not easier to kill. But if that rule ever changes, like if Reaper walks in front of Rein's shield, kill the Reaper, kill the Mei, kill the Sim, right? Mm-hmm. So these rules go out the window here. And I actually think here, I know you're taking a bit of damage and maybe there's some PTSD from a charged Symmetra on you, but this is lunch meat for you right here. This is lunch meat. Go get her.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Every time I see that beam charging up, I'm like, let's get out of here.
Situationally, right, if you get an extended Rein or holding shield trade, eventually she'll ramp up to where she's a problem, and that's also usually coincidentally when you're low. But a tier 3 Symmetra with a Reinhardt in her face still dies. Right? It just depends on how high of an HP you were before the engagement started. Right now, you're fine. You have the resources. You can go. Now,
again, an awareness thing.
This is a mistake. This is a mistake. This is you being a brave protector of your team. But let me ask you a question. Who is the biggest threat on your screen, or not on your screen right now, and who is the easiest kill right now? I'm not going to even move the camera.
That's Sim.
That's Sim.
Wait,
right?
Sim's
dead. And who else? Look at the top left here, right? You got the player list. Sim's dead. Moira's dead. Where's the Hanzo?
Bro,
why not go for
where he is.
Why would you not? Why would you go for the Hanzo? Because he's freaking free. He's easy.
Free, yeah.
Is there something specifically scary about Hanzo compared to Ana or Brig or, maybe, one shot, but not really. It doesn't really matter what hero this is. If you can get on top of it, get on top of it and kill it.
Yeah.
It's good. I don't think this is a bad play because you could pin him off the map, but look at the kill feed. Right?
Yep.
This is your responsibility. Your responsibility is to control space by applying pressure to threats when they're dangerous positions.
So even if that Freya had died, if I had gone for the Hanzo, that would have added so much more value.
Correct. That's the thing, is you risk that Rein killing the Freya, yes, but you're going to at least do what he's doing to your backline. You can guarantee pressure here. I don't know if this is going to work out, and you can see it right now. It may not work out. He may run around with you. And now you're like, oh gosh, that could have caught me, right? That would have been bad. Okay.
And yeah, that attempted pin was like 100% just like a Ryan ego play.
Yes.
Like, it would be so cool to get him off the edge.
I mean, I will say that like that's not a bad thing all the time. It is very satisfying.
But that other play had so much more value to it,
right.
Potential value.
Okay. Going, throwing our fire strikes. There's a weird replay view bug where the fire strikes don't show sometimes.
I noticed that yesterday.
I don't know why it does that. So now, is this the correct play? Let's go back to the basics. Is there anything else that you could be pressuring safely right now that's not the Rhine? With the information that you have, let's give you a little bit more context.
I think that's Ana up there. I feel like I could have still been like, oh, that's Hanzo up there. I feel like I still could have been threatening that while Ryan's backing up.
How?
Fire strike, maybe.
You get what I'm saying? Do you see how that kind of feels hollow?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you're right. Kind of.
And for you to get here, what would you have to do?
A lot of work.
A lot of work, a lot of time, right?
Yeah.
Wrap all the way around behind, also going to where your team can't do anything right now. So just, kill the Rhine. It's fine.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Now, it would have been nice to know earlier that the Sim was here, just in case you want to push.
Sure.
You can push her as well, but yeah, this is fine. So, there you go. Now, here's a question. Should you have pinned here? Was this more of a predictive pin of like maybe I'll catch the Rhine?
Yeah, that's definitely what I was doing.
Yeah,
I was like,
I
feel like somebody might pop out from behind that car.
Yeah, maybe. What is the value of holding this position hold though?
It's kind of a choke-ish point, and I feel like staying here allows my team to set up better.
Sure.
For
Can your
that
team
next
see you?
brawl. Yeah.
Yeah, sure can. How does the enemy team kill you?
They can't because I'm covered.
Right. So if they push you, they turn their backs to your team.
Mm-hmm.
If they push you from behind, they walk into your hammer range. Squishy does, right?
Yeah.
Something to consider. Off angles with Ryan are really broken. It doesn't mean that when you play like very far away, you need to be like directly in like a really choke-oriented manner, but playing a little bit off to the side, so they have to look at your team or look at you, it's big stuff. Don't always think about shielding your team. Think about pulling attention away from where the rest of your team is actually positioned, and they have to choose. They choose you, they die to your team. If they choose your team, well, you're just swinging for free.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm glad you brought that up because I find myself as Ryan always just kind of sitting in that front line position, like doing the tank thing from...
Yep.
You know?
Yep. The tank thing is to apply pressure, right? It's to apply pressure and threat to make people look at you and not your team. Overwatch 2 is way too spread out for one shield to actually matter most of the time.
Yeah.
Your job is to make the threats look at you, to make them be in bad positions, like you said with positioning earlier and holding space. It's not to shield your team almost ever. It's not that it's never useful, but it's almost never useful.
Copy.
Sure. They're in front of your face, so win the tank trade. How do you win the tank trade? Block key cooldowns, manage your HP, hit fat fire strikes, case in point, right? Like this one's huge. Don't get pinned.
Yep.
I also like that you're kind of swinging on the corner here, right? So as soon as things get uncomfortable, bam, half a second, you're into the wall.
I always try to do that, and then unfortunate.
I mean, yeah, but I honestly, it happens. Just take the opportunities you're given. It was okay.
Yep.
You pincered the Symmetra, which was pretty funny.
Yeah, I hit a couple of those this week, and they're always hilarious.
Always funny. Get the Hanzo. I like using the active hitbox there as well, moving your camera so you can spin the hammer about just a little bit.
Yeah, I've noticed that helps sometimes.
It's important. I don't know if it's like 10%, but it's just a little bit further with your range. So now, this is one of those moments again. You cannot let this Rein bait you this way. You can't. I know it's scary, but this is what's scary. This is your choke. This is your corner. You must control the space here. Why? Because look at the target priority. Who's closer, Squishies or Tank? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because even then, watching that replay of that Ryan diving in, my knee-jerk reaction was like, oh, go get him. But after hearing you talk, I'm like,
and that opens the floodgates.
Rewire that part of my reaction.
Right. It's not always bad. I mean, we just saw a fight where you did a good job versus the Ryan, like in terms of hitting your fire strikes and dodging the pin and so on. But like right now, it's like it's really important because if you go this way, what's going to happen to your team and to happen to you?
They get exposed. My back's to them.
Yes.
Disaster.
Yes. You need to trust your teammates can handle a threat while you focus on the threats in front of you. And that's a general rule, not just for Ryan. That's a rule for when you're playing Ryan into Ball or Ryan into Winston or Ryan versus that smurfing Doomfist, right? You just have to trust. Now, doesn't mean you can't ever pin the Doom if he's way overextended. But even then, you got to ask yourself, am I enabling something that backline to kill my team?
Got you.
A lot of times it's just you holding shield, right? Like you swing this Moira out and then you just sit there in their face, the Kiriko, the Moira, and the Ashe, you just hold shield.
They can't do anything.
What can they do, right? There's nothing that they can do. And that's what Ryan's really good at, right? Ryan is just really good at being like, okay, I know you guys have your tank on my backline, but you can't do anything about it. So just enjoy shooting my shield for the next 15 seconds. Because if you notice, what do Wrecking Ball, Doomfist, and Winston not have in common, they can't stay forever.
No, they have to keep moving.
They have to leave, right? I mean, maybe a Primal Rage lasts a long time, but that's an ultimate, right? So they can't stay forever. So you hold shield and hold shield and hold shield, and eventually they come out, then you go.
Copy.
Yeah, I mean, we can blame ult tracking here. We can also think about where your attention was in terms of the Ryan versus the backline. I still want you to think about Ryan for Shatter, sure, but even the Fire Strike there, you got to wonder, should you have Fire Strike that instead of Fire Striking the squishes that are right in front of your face?
Yeah, easy targets.
Easy targets. Oh, that's a super unlucky Suzu. Hold shield.
Yep.
Hold shield, hold shield, hold shield. Just a little thing, too. It feels really bad. This is like the Ramatra classic, I always say, where you're like, I'm getting hit through my shield. Why would I hold my shield? Because you're not blocking Rhine swings. You're blocking Hanzo damage. You're not blocking Ramatra's punches. You're blocking Widowmaker body shots. So when you hold shield right now, you're not holding shield to block Rhine swings. You're holding shield to stop everything else from killing you. Can you live Rhine swings? Maybe. It's tough. But I tell you what, you sure as heck can't live Rhine swings and whatever else is going on behind it. Just hold shield.
Yeah, I think in those scenarios, I'm like, all right, what's the point of even holding shield? But you're right, and that could even potentially protect teammates behind me too.
It can drag out your death for an extra 2 seconds. Not to be morbid, but that's useful, right? You just never know. You never know, right? Now, if he's half or one, then okay, yeah, sure, I get it, but it just isn't worth.
Got it.
Good general rule. And obviously, the problem with that is that once you start losing the Rhine mirror, there's really no coming back because he's going to swing through your shield and kill you. It's funny how Rhine players hate Ramatra, which I understand. I'm not saying that's I get it, but Rhine versus Rhine, it's the same thing. You start losing that duel, there's no going back. You're dead. Yeah. So you can't even counterpin out. He will kill you. So it's the same kind of concept where it's like, yeah, there's no forgiving mechanics. Okay, so we're backed off the corner from Dragon. Yeah, pin in there, sure. Throw the Curie. Generally feel fairly comfortable with your fire strikes, which makes sense. You're platinum. You've been playing this character for a while, so. What is she doing? Okay.
It's always funny when you can't see it.
That is funny. Sure. Element of surprise.
Getting a little goofy here.
Yeah. I think there's also something to consider as well as like, what are your paths to access backline from this position here, right? It's kind of ugly, right? It's all uphill.
Yeah.
It's high ground. You could flank all the way around behind. It'd be a bit risky. Very high risk, high reward. But yeah, sure. That's fine. As long as you have a good reason behind what you're doing, it's okay. Yeah. I will say one thing. Your minor perk selection doesn't make sense of the way that you're playing.
Ooh, talk to me. I've never really,
It is an excellent perk with the very first discussion that we had where we said, what if you could teleport in Hans and Sim?
Yeah.
So if you're pinning backline and flanking and hard wrapping around, it's a really good perk. If you're not and just taking frontline trades, which maybe it's the map, maybe it's the way that you're playing, then there's no reason not to choose the other perk.
Got you.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Not saying the other
I think
perk
it's just kind of been force of habit.
Yeah. I mean, he's low, so I get it. I mean, at this point, he's basically even more killable than a Hanzo if you can just finish him off. Huge fire strike. Questionable shatter given your HP.
Yeah. That's one of those goofy plays.
Hey, is that play of the game?
I don't think so.
Feels like it should have been close. I think that was a 3K maybe? I don't know. Okay.
I think I just started slamming the keyboard at that point.
Okay, just reset.
See, those are those little moments where I'm just I love Ryan. It's just fun to hear him sometimes.
Yeah. He really is. Yeah. All right, don't force an engagement here. Where's your team? I don't even know if you can hold this corner here. See, this is where it's I can feel you feel it. This urge to back up a little bit, right? But that's just, I'm sorry, it's not good enough. Turn your camera and look. You need to look. You need to know, because the difference between Ana being here and Ana being here is massive. Because if Ana's here, you're holding this corner aggressively. If Ana's not, you're probably not. You understand? So it's now's the time to do that. I think that's the key thing with tank is it's not that you should be checking your backline all the time. You just can't. But when you have those windows, you better take it. Because in about 5 seconds, 3, 4, 5, you're not going to have time to turn around anymore. It's too late. We're full in. Where's the Rein? Where's the DPS? There's too much. You need to be doing things right now, not turning around. You kind of get what I'm saying? So
in that moment, that's why I needed to just kind of gather my awareness first.
Yes.
Then make decisions.
Correct. Now, here's the question. Is there anybody close here that you can threaten to hit with your hammer?
I think I saw someone off to the left that was...
Yeah, I think so too, right? Similar issue that we just talked about, right? But it's the flip side. Where are the enemies? I have no idea. We only know where Ryan is half the time. We don't even know, okay, yes, get her get her out. There, Shoo, go away. I've got robot now. Force them to come this way. Create space for your team. Don't worry about this. Sometimes there's going to be ships passing in the night. Not that you shouldn't have dealt with this if you were here, but you missed your pin.
Yeah.
Right? So you are no longer positioned to deal with this threat, so stop trying.
Yeah. I think there's that prideful urge to go back and try again.
Right.
Instead of pivoting.
But we're just letting Moira do whatever she wants. I mean, you could be applying pressure here. You could be pulling the Rhine to you, not the other way around.
Got you.
There's just a lot of floating here. You kind of see you're bouncing around. Feels kind of aimless.
Yeah.
You notice
that?
that?
Watching this back.
There's a squishy right here. Go get him out. Are you going to kill them? No. That's not your job. Your job is to scare them, make you think that you might kill them. And if you do, great. If you don't, fine. All the resources, attention, their Ryan comes to pin at you, and then your Freya's freaking free. And your Ana's free, your Soldier's free, and your Moira Cole's and so on. Right? Right now, what's happening is... No, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say I'm recently learning how valuable Ryan's presence can just be sometimes. So I think I'm learning how to wield that a little bit.
Yes, you talked about it again with holding space earlier, right? You gave all the right answers. The problem is that you're not doing that right now. We're talking about creating and holding space. Well, where is that space right now? Where are enemies that you could push out right now?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that Moira is prime.
Main,
Ash
anything.
is just chilling there.
Right, and these are enemies that get crucial you actually know about for once, right? So do something about it, right? You have the resources, you have the shield, just walk at her. You don't necessarily need to kill her. Just make her think that you will. Yeah, he's baiting you just a little bit. Yeah. I mean, it's really easy to think about, okay, you lost the Ryan trade again, for sure. But a lot of it is also just it's those periods of inactivity. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I suck at Rhine mirrors. I'm bad at the mechanics. I've never been good at the mechanics. But I outposition him. I make him chase me around the map. and then I just make his backline miserable. So yeah, okay, fine, you can shatter me, but the fight's already lost by the time that you did.
Yeah.
You know? Even here,
That's
right?
smart.
We have a pick. You know your team's here. Walk. These are the guys.
Yeah.
There's no angles now even. Everything's just here. You got resources? Let's walk. It's like all or nothing, or this or pin. Just walk. Just hold shield here and just let your team shoot it. Or just walk at backline. Or probably not worth, to be honest with you. I think you guys are already up like 1 or 2. And Shatter's such a tiny portion of his HP. Okay.
Yeah, that moment, like, I just want to talk about, like, that engagement again. It's like that identifying thing. I don't know, like, what's happening when I'm playing, but I'm just, like, not actively thinking like that. And so, like, seeing this and you talking through it's definitely helping a lot. But I'm realizing, like where these moments are coming from. And it's like, oh, like, if I had just identified, like, they were down a hero, like, my team had great positioning. I should have just pressed W a little earlier.
Sure. You had the resources, you had the threats in front of you. Do what you can. I like what we're doing here. Gonna go hit some things with our hammer. Create some space. Lose a little bit of HP. Shield back up. That's where the perk is useful. Nice fire strike. Don't leave the corner. Hold the corner. The reason why you can hold this corner is because your team is here. So we are indeed fighting here. So hold the corner. You can see it's floating. You're like a life weaver surveying the battlefield, looking for good heals or good pulls, right?
I've never had that pointed out.
You know, but like you need to directly force errors, right? And doesn't mean you get kills, doesn't mean you pin in, but your presence here forces Ryan to make a choice. It forces Ashe to make a choice. You might just sit there and hold shield. You might even sit on a corner and not even peek at all, but you need to force your presence on the enemy team.
Got you.
Kind of waiting for that Ryan to overstep or to do something, but that's not a good, that's a reactive way of playing. It's not a good way of playing. You don't need to be a problem solver necessarily, because sometimes the problems are going to happen, like what happens when the Hanzo takes the high ground and just kills your entire team? What are you going to do about that, right? Like, you need to start applying pressure when you get the opportunity. Like what you're doing right now, you're being a problem solver, right? Why? Because he's here, so you're gonna hit him with your hammer. But then now, what's the next step? Where's the next target? Well, it's gonna pin up top. Where are we gonna swing now? Well, we're gonna threaten the swing on Ashe. She's gonna freak. She's out. Her coach gun's down, and then now we're gonna win the tank trade. You see it? Mm-hmm. So she's burned a cooldown. She's not in a good position to shoot anymore. She's panicking, you know, and you're just gonna swing on Ryan until you get low. But we're floating again. You notice that? Your first step was to back up. You got your team with you.
Yeah.
Walk forward. Keep swinging until you start to lose some resources.
Gotta stop floating.
All right. Now, if you want to back up, sure. I have nothing wrong with backing up or pushing. No floating. Your choice. You full out, all the way out to this corner here. Just disengage. Totally fine. Totally fine. But you have to be decisive. That's the thing here. So you're backing off here and then decisively pushing in. I don't like this push, frankly, but I'm just happy to see that you actually made a decision quickly, right? So this is probably going to lose you this fight because they've blown 2 support ults. I don't think you're going to win this. But you know what, honestly? You're creating havoc. You're creating chaos. If he fails to counterpin you here, you probably kill the Kiriko, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're forcing an action, and you had the resources to do so too because you had full HP. It happens. Go next.
Yeah.
Rule of shatters, just shatter the one guy. That's the rule. Shatter the one guy.
Yep.
And preferably not the Ryan. Because Ryan is ironically the worst person you can shatter because he's got the most tools to deal with it, whether it's his HP or pocket from his supports or shield, of course, as well, right? So, okay, where's your team? You know, rhetorical question here, really, right? You have no idea. So,
nope.
Okay, here. Okay, so then we're down 1, but I'll probably hold here-ish. But I definitely shouldn't push too far forward, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a turnaround there. That's the first time we've seen that in a while, so. Hold shield. Hold shield. A little too late with holding shield. Hold shield. Hold shield. Hold shield. Hold shield. You notice, again, it's not about the blocking swings. It's what is not being swung at you right now. You need to shield. All right?
Copy.
It's kind of an interesting little of a situation here where you pulled an ultimate, you pulled the Ryan's attention, pinned out, got out safely, helped protect your team, and baited attention that allowed your team to live, right? Also forced a really bad shatter from him. Hold shield. Hold shield. Hold shield. Now we get HP, we go. You can even, by the way, hold shield and walk forward too. That's the best, because then you don't have to pin, because you're already close. Unlucky? Okay. Let's see what we got here. Who's close? Who's close? Oh. Little deep, but it'll be okay in like 5-ish seconds. It's just a little deep for where your backline is right now. You see him, right? Through the wall.
Yeah.
That's, again, something you could have done here. Probably just a little too deep given that right now. By the way, this is kind of the value of the off angle I was talking about. You notice it? It's too deep of an off angle, but look at this Ryan's positioning here. So you've got your back turned to Moira, but look at this Ryan. Look at his HP. He's getting murked.
He's just getting melted.
He's getting murked from your DPS right now. Yes. He tried to shield that you. What was the plan? Stop trying to shatter Ryan. Stop trying to shatter Ryan. Unironically here, I actually think I just keep swinging. The shatter afterwards, because like 2-3 swings, he's gone. But no, he's gone. It's that ego. Yeah, and the thing is like, okay, here's the thing. The reason why I'm so emphatic about this is that I guarantee that we don't just see this in Rhine mirrors. I guarantee you if somebody goes Malga versus you, it becomes personal, right? I guarantee if they go Orisa, it becomes personal. I guarantee if they go Roadhog, it becomes personal, right? I guarantee if you're Zarya, you count bubbles and you shatter because it's personal. Or Ramattra, it's personal, right? You shatter the Primal Range Monkey, it's personal, right? It's not always a bad idea to shatter the tank, but when you have opportunity to not shatter the tank, you're noticing a consistent theme here, right? It's not that focusing tank is bad, but it's bad when there are other options right in front of you.
Got you. Yep. I think you nailed it.
In Shatter, you have that bit of range too, which is, rare. So don't float. You can push here, which may not be wise. You can back up to the corner, or you can float. Your choice. You hold the corner, probably your best option. Decisively hold the corner, let them come to you. Why? Because you can't safely access the squishies that you want. You notice that? You have lead, hold the corner. But you're either decisively holding space or decisively pushing space. You're never floating. Never floating.
Gotcha.
Because this is just unnecessary shield and HP damage without really any reward. You didn't lose too much out of it, but just a little bit. It's unnecessary.
Compounds over time.
Yeah. Just like more of a micro tip, don't counterpin Bob when there's a Rhine. Take the hit. He'll knock you in the air, but you'll be fine. It's just like 100 damage.
Gotcha.
Or something
Okay.
Like that.
Yeah.
Okay. You'll be okay. And then you can counterpin the Rhine, because it's like, what are you supposed to do here? Just take the hit.
Yeah, I notice anytime a Bob's thrown, my knee-jerk reaction is just like try and stop him from getting closer.
Look what just happened on our screen. I'm sorry. Look what just happened on our screen. Look what you did. Look what you did. Look what you did. Look what you did. Look what you did.
Held the shield.
Look at your HP. Look at your HP. It's happening. Okay. It's happening. And then... No!
Yeah.
Oh, we're so close. Your Ana just got her nade back. You guys just got Visor.
Oh, my God.
It's painful, right? Like, a lot of Ryan is sometimes just holding shield until it breaks.
Yeah.
Really. But that's what you're really freaking good at.
Wow. I mean, that was an eye-opening moment right there.
But you did it, though. Like, there was a brief moment where you did it, so... Okay, so this is a crucial moment. I know you're thinking about cart. Stop thinking about cart. You got plenty of time. You got about 20 seconds. What should you be pushing right
now? Backline?
Well, no, almost never do you push backline. Because they're in the back of the line. Yeah. And so you have to walk through the line to get to the back. But if you take an angle or you take a flank, maybe it's different. But sometimes you don't even have to do that. Sometimes the back line is no longer on the back line. In fact, the higher rank that you're going to go, you're going to see more of this. Look on the right-hand side of your screen. Do you see it?
See the Ashe up there. Yeah.
Who's closer, Ashe or Rhine?
Ashe.
If it was even close, you'd still go for Ashe. What should you pin right now?
Ashe.
What should you walk and hold shield at right now? Your choice. One is more risky because you could get punished by Ryan, but it's much faster. One is a little bit less risky, but a little slower. Either one's good, but you cannot let her hold that angle.
Yeah.
Now, we don't always see that. Sometimes they're on a high ground that you may or may not be able to access, at least in the middle of a fight. But right now, perfect opportunity. You can't let her do this. This is the ego kicking in again. And by ego, I literally mean ego. I mean like the tank honorable duel, right? Like this is this is your problem. Now she walks off, total accident, because guess who immediately fills that vacation? It's Hanzo, right? He's right back in here. You are standing, by the way, in the open. And if you were to take the tank trade, where would you want to do it from?
Probably that corner right there.
The corner, no floating. You decisively pull to here, or you decisively push here. No floating, your choice.
Yeah.
And if you want to get cute with it, you could also go to here, right, and off angle it, right? You know, there's different options here, but all of them involve a corner. All of them involve something else. And what's happened is you're thinking shatter. You're thinking shatter. That's what's happening. I'm predicting. I may be wrong.
My floating kind of got me killed. If I had been more decisive on whether to just engage that tank or like hold that position away from the DPS.
Yes. It felt a little just like shatter. I wonder if the floating is trying to protect your team with shield, and or when he has shatter, you're scared to move too much out of the main lane.
I think when I'm like ult tracking and I know for a fact that he's got shatter, like I do get a little like bouncy. Like I'm ready to. I want to block it so bad.
Yeah. You're gonna kind of like
subconscious thing.
Because if you're here, you're like, oh, I guess a free shatter in your backline. I'm gonna be honest, skill issue for your backline, and it's not gonna stop you from climbing ranks. You'll win more fights holding corners than you will blocking shatter on main. Trust me.
Got you.
Yeah, he's the closest, so just kill him. He did the same thing you did. He really wanted that tank shatter and failed for it. Now this is tricky, OT. You're going to feel the need to, like, I'm scared to leave cart. But this is another one of those situations where, like, if you can trust your team to push cart, we really need you on this Moira or Kiriko, or we really need you on this Hanzo if you know that he's there. Because look at what's happening while you're stuck on cart. Look at the angles that they're taking on you right now. And all of these with pen are pushable. All of them.
Yeah.
Like you cannot let this guy go here if you can avoid it. And if you can't, well then you're gonna lose. So it's like, I understand in OT, like you're gonna push cart, but you've got 2 people on cart right now. Maybe you just have to trust your soldier. I don't know. Certainly, I mean, it's too late now, right? It's game's over now. But like that's kind of the luxury of having a lead. So let's take a look at a couple other fights in the other code if that works for you.
Okay, yeah, I'm cool with that. No, I learned a lot from that. Thank you.
So yeah, of course, the main goal, you want to hit squishies with your hammer. That creates space. But to do so, you might have to push and win the tank trade. How do you do so? You play corner. You play corner really well, and you look for opportunities to be able to push things that are accessible to you. That's the rule.
Got you.
So right now, your job is not so much to push squishies because you know where we're fighting, so much as to hold squishies. So we're going to look for an opportunity to keep squishies honest. Are you keeping squishies honest right now? Let's watch carefully. Kind of. You see the Genji Lucius body language?
A little bit, yeah.
They're like, I'm not so sure about that. Now, is the Reaper your job? No. Why?
My other teammate's job.
But why?
I can't even get to him.
That's it. Is the Doomfist your job? No. Why? Because he's not near you.
Yeah.
And you don't have pen. So your job is the Genji Lucio. Why? Because is it in a tips and tricks video? No, it's because it's there. So they're on your corner, so you're gonna deal with them. Now, what happens when the Genji Lucio go flying by? You go right in, find something new to do.
Copy. Yeah, and I will say, like, the second I saw that they had Doom and just the comp in my head, I was like, I need to switch to Doom to play this one. And so I feel like I did some goofy shit on Ryan this first fight.
I mean, a lot of what this is just moving around a lot, right?
Yeah.
Trying to keep up with these guys. You're doing pretty good so far, right? Keeping the Genji Lucio busy. It's like, it doesn't feel like a lot, but of course it's a lot. 4 people can deal with 2 people. Because 1 person can deal with 2, right? No problem. Good fire strikes, good swings. Yeah, this is good. What's next? Okay, get Kiriko. Oh, that's freaking lucky. She'll still die. She'll still die. Yeah, look at that. Ryan versus these comps is not bad necessarily if the map is small enough to where you can reach things, right? I know it's like, Doom, freaking Doom, but like, look, you won. So, good stuff. As long as you can threaten people with your hammer, you can play Ryan. As long as you have the creativity to know how to position, you can play Ryan.
Yeah.
I wouldn't burn too much of my shield for this.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking I need my shield to do what I just did. To push Poo Girl on Kiriko. Jeez. Yeah, see, you're thinking about it. Stop. It's not your job.
I know.
Hold the corner.
I know.
This is your job. This is your job. This is your job. Your job is to be here at full shield and knock this guy in the face and let this guy overstep his welcome. You may not want to push into here necessarily because where your team is positioned, right? So that's the challenge. Do you hold or push space, right? But you're giving this Genji way too much space and then pinning. It's a good pin in terms of in terms of whether it works or not, but it was a bad idea. You shouldn't have needed to pin. And I want to say one other thing as well. Do you remember the Hanzo Symmetra thing, the first thing we talked about? You screwed up. What should you do right now?
Let's see it.
What should you do? You screwed up. Kill's gone. What now?
Hold shield.
Hold shield. You sit here and you hold shield, 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 and then you pin out. Okay.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Please.
Like, in a scenario, this is just a general Ryan question. Like, in a scenario where I'm like, all right, I've gotten myself into a situation where the fight is lost. Is that, you think the holding the shield thing probably going to provide more value, or should I just...
No, I'd kill. But see, the funny thing is, this fight is not lost. You did it, like you screwed the pin.
Yeah, I knew I went too deep. Yeah.
But watch the red circles. Look at the space. Watch. And watch your blue circles too. Even your dopey plat teammates. Watch what they do. Watch. They know. They know
collapsing.
They're collapsing. They collapse on you.
Widow's
and look
got
at your
better angle.
Look at Genji. Look at Widow. Look at Kiri. Right. She even tries to give you a Suzy. Right. It's bad, but it can be useful. Pinning backline, especially if you could do so more delicately, can be useful. Imagine if you could have gotten out of this, right? So comms like these, it's like super, but there's also no sleep dart or discord or whatever to stop you from getting out. I mean, the only thing you have to worry about is punch, and that's it. And he's already used it. So, yeah. That's I don't think a doom swap here is inappropriate. I think it's fine. So we don't have to delve into it. My point being is that like, the threat of you going in will force oftentimes a disproportionate response. Your job is to punish that attention by holding shield. When they ignore you, you swing. When they look at you, you hold shield. You play with their attention. You're going to look at me? Because if you look at me, I'm just going to sit here and hold shield for 6 years. The second you look away, I'm going to hit you with my hammer. That's the way to go.
Yeah, that's huge. No, thank you for that.
So... drills, goals, things that we need to go into. I want you to go into a game and practice things. Here, one block of practice for an entire ranked game, for as many fights as you can remember. Before the fight starts, check your teammates' positions. As the fight starts, where are the enemies? That's it. I'm not asking you to take any action off of that. Trust your instincts to take action as feels appropriate or necessary or natural. Just trust your instincts. So give yourself full information, and then just allow yourself to do whatever you want. Number one. Number two, this is going to be another game, different practice session. Maybe the next game or tomorrow or whenever you'd like. You're going to focus exclusively on whether I'm focusing tank or pinning backline. I have a corner. I'm ankled. I am ball and chain on that corner. So anytime anything goes sloppy, I'm on that corner. You got me?
Yep.
Number three, you're going to go in and you're going to practice. When do I look for opportunities to pressure squishies? By the way, not just with my swings, but where I'm aiming my fire strikes. Versus when do I take the trade that's in front of me? That's it. Where are they? So where should I pressure? And that's it. And you're going to cycle those three skills. So target priority based off of opportunity, corner, and then team and enemy awareness. That's it. And what's going to happen is as you get better at where are enemies and get better at corner usage and get better at prioritizing who to go for, those together makes a really pretty Reinhardt, right?
Right. Yeah.
We haven't talked as much about, fire strike accuracy and shield and HP management and those little micro things. Those things you can practice as well, and I encourage you to do so. But those are going to be the three main training blocks. Now, how you do that, it's up to you. You can do one every day, one of each. You can have a day where you just focus on one, whatever's more interesting and fun for you. And then as you get more information and you want to try new things, you get bored of checking your teammate's position. Okay. After a couple of weeks, maybe it's time to drop it. Doesn't mean that you're perfect at it. It just means that you're bored. You want to do something new. All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that, man. I
You're welcome.
learned so much.
Of course, no problem. I will also say we didn't talk as much about Doomfist, but I would say almost
That's all good.
exclusively all of these things apply to Doomfist as well,
Got you.
including the target priority, right? Doomfist has a little bit more flexibility with target priority, but you can also really, really take tank trades if you have a bit of an angle. So, okay. Do you have any questions?
Um, Nothing off the top of my head right now. I mean, I've those practice points were super great. Like, I definitely had a couple like light bulb moments in that session where you're just like, we're just going through my gameplay and notice those little things. So definitely thinking on that right now. But no immediate questions.
Okay.
Really
If
appreciate you,
questions
man.
do come
Yeah.
up, just let me know, all right?